Ho, 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 ho! It's here. Surge protection is here. What the heck is surge protection? Well, don't worry. It's brand new. There's no way you really know what this is unless you like scour the blogs like I do every morning and every night looking for all the updates that are out there. But don't worry, in this video, I'm going to show you what surge protection is, how to configure it, and like even how to see if surge protection is working for you. Exciting, huh? I'm excited. All right, do the whole YouTube thing. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, share with your friends and family. Helps the channel. And if you really want to help the channel and you want early access to this content, become a member. And for as little as $5 a month, you can get access to this content early. Okay, so I got super jazzed. This was just a couple days ago. Woo, Kaj. That's right. You pronounce it Woo, Kaj Pulowski just updated us that we've got this new surge protection that's out. It's still, I think it's still rolling out. I've been checking it every day, a few times a day, waiting for this to go out there. But you can now get the surge protection out there. The links below are going to be, they're going to like actually show you where the link to this blog is to actually get you up and running with this. Okay. So surge protection is out. Basically, what the heck is surge protection? Well, what this allows you to do is it allows you as a fabric capacity administrator, capacity by capacity, determine what thresholds you're going to allow for background activities to go on that might impact your fabric capacity, right? There's lots of things that happen out in fabric, lots of things you want to be running in the foreground and you want to be very purposeful with. Other things are very like useful but can be considered kind of noise and whatnot, like notebooks that just run and run, right? You don't necessarily leave them running forever, and they do have shutoffs and whatnot. But if you want to be very mindful of like what your capacity or what you're surging for with your bursting and smoothing, sometimes it's better to like pull back on how many resources those other like notebooks, those other activities could be consuming, to make sure that you've got the priority on the right capacities, right? So setting this stuff up is really easy. It runs through this right here in the blog. But you know what, why don't I actually show it to you? So actually we're going to start at the home page. Okay, so from the home page, I'm going to click on this little toggle here and I'm going to scroll down to admin portal. All right, can you guys see it right here? The admin portal. I'm going to go into the admin portal, click on that, and then I'm going to scroll down to my capacities. And I'm going to have to go in and do this for any fabric capacity that I want to control. I'm going to have to set this by each one. Okay. So there's no currently way to set like a default on this. Like it's a capacity by capacity thing. Right now it's off, saying, hey, you know what, Microsoft, you go ahead and manage this stuff. You're pretty good at it, and Microsoft is. But there's some teams and some capacities where people want to have much more control over this. Think about like your production workloads where you want to be very purposeful with it. You want to control that background noise. Okay. When you go into that individual capacity, you're going to scroll down and you're looking for surge protection right here. Okay. When you toggle that open, you're going to see that it's disabled by default. Surge protection is not on by default, right? Because what it's going to do is it's going to kick back some of those processes that happen in the background, and you want to be purposeful for that. So I'm actually going to enable surge protection because I've run into situations because I'm using a lot of my F2 capacity where I've hit that bursting and smoothing limit, and I don't want to do that, especially if bursting, enabling the surge protection would restrict some of those background noises. Okay. Now, it's going to give you some, basically some thresholds in here, right? Background rejection threshold. Set a custom background rejection threshold to lower impact background jobs having your capacity usage. The fabric default is 100% of the 24 hours, right? I.e., only reject it at the 100% level. This is going to start to slowly increment that and pull that back, right? So, okay, we're going to say, okay, let's go from that 100% and we're going to actually take that down to 75. All right. I could do it much lower if I wanted to, but you're going to want to actually go in and play with this and test it out. All right. Background recovery threshold. Set a custom background recovery threshold to allow your capacity to burn down overages. The capacity will continue to reject background jobs until it can burn down overages so that the 24-hour background percentage is less than or equal to the background recovery threshold. Set a value that's lower than your selected background rejection threshold. Okay. So what this does is when you hit that limit, right, and you start to like, okay, I've cut everyone off, right, and now I'm slowly starting to like go through time and get more CUs become available. It's gonna say, okay, give yourself X percent. In this case, 25%. I want to make sure I've got 25% available for my purposeful processes before I actually start like rejecting my or before I start enabling background things to happen again. And as long as I can keep this threshold at 25%, that actually keeps that functioning, right? So I just hit apply, and this is going to be applied to my capacity. Super easy to turn it off too if you don't like it. It's going to be easy for you. Um, they do have in the system some easy ways for you actually to like go in and check out what the background recovery is. Now, I just turned mine off. This is live. I don't have usage on this. I'm just going to show you this blog to talk through how this works. So you can actually go into your throttling on your capacity monitoring app and check out what's going on and see what's going and see how those adjustments and throttles are impacting you, right? You'll even be able to like go in and actually see that the throttling has occurred because you'll start to see like notebooks with like failed statuses and if I zoom in on the error message, you'll actually see that capacity limit exceeded PBI parameter. It's going to be in the system events, and you're going to start to see these things start to show up so you can actually know that this is going on. Okay. Now, there are a number of considerations that really we're talking about, like where you want to get, things you want to consider around this stuff. Do check this out. You're going to be making some decisions inside your organization, based upon these considerations. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. How you're going to be using surge protection or not, right? Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're as excited about surge protection as I am. I've got a number of places where I'm going to be using this. I've already actually gone in, configured this in two different places where this is now enabled. So I'm really excited to see how this is going to function and help us when it comes to like managing those pesky surges that can occur. Let me know what your results are. Let me know if you have any comments down below. And you have the best day ever. Peace. Ah. What happened? That's not it. We're ending. I'm ending the video. Oh, I know it's a lot. If you need help, head over to bakertilly.com/digital. Click on the little form, fill that out. Myself or one of my coworkers will reach out. We'll give you a hand. All right? I guarantee it. We can help you. But if you think you can do this yourself, and I know you can, here's 2 other videos to help you on your journey to becoming a data god. Yeah, that's right.